Okay, so now we're going to, we have our bottles ready and I have the canner out here in the sink and I'm going to turn it on and let's see if you guys can kind of tell from this picture. You make sure you want to fill your canner with cold water. You can kind of see the line I have in the canner. That's about my normal spot. So you just fill it with that much water. And then you're going to put this on the stove and I'm going to get a camera person. Okay, so we filled up our pot with water, about 1 inch. We're going to turn the stove on to high. Can you see in here? That's what I want you to do, is see into the pot. So we have 14 pints. We're going to, whoa, not that one, hang on. I gotta put the, make sure you always put the guard down. You don't want to put jars right on the bottom of the pot. So we're going to put that in and then we're going to put 7 of these pints into here. They can be touching. It's not going to hurt them to be touching. And you're just going to put 7 of them. One in the middle here. Then we're going to put another plate on top of them and put 7 more. So let's go ahead and put these 7 in. Okay. I've turned the stove on high because we're going to want to bring it up to temperature. If you have really hard water, you can add about half a cup of vinegar, like white distilled vinegar. 1/4 cup would be fine probably, and it'll help the water not build up on your jars. See this little notch? It needs to be at the front of the stove so that when you put your lid on, that the gauge is facing the right direction. Okay, so everything's in there. What we're gonna do is you just put this down, seated, and then push it forward until it stops. Okay, now it's going to come up to temperature and we'll come back because we're gonna wait till there's steam coming out of this hole until this little gauge is popped up with the pressure from inside the canner. All right, so you can tell that there's full steam coming out. You let it go for about 5 minutes, and this has also pushed this little pressure gauge up. So we're going to take the weight and put it on there, which is going to trap the steam inside of the pressure cooker, and now we're going to watch the pressure gauge go up. For our area, it's about 13 pounds here in Idaho, and so we're going to keep it between like 12 and 14 in there, and sometimes the electric stoves don't change their heat quite as fast as a gas stove, and so you have to kind of monitor it a little bit. You got to turn it down until you get it just right, and then you can pretty much let it go. And you don't start your timer, which for the pints is 70 minutes on the turkey, until it gets up to 13 pounds. So it's already moving pretty fast. I'm guessing it'll take about 5 minutes, and I'll show you the gauge when it gets up there. Okay, so I've made this rather big so you can see it's up to 13 pounds. I'm going to go ahead and turn the stove down a little bit so that it will try to maintain 13 pounds of pressure. It may continue to go up a little bit before the stove cools down enough to let it go down. But if you play with it just for a few minutes, depending on your stove, you should be able to get it to be right in that range. Now, the one thing I want you to know is that if it goes like up to 15 or maybe 16, this weight is going to start shaking and going shh, and you know that the pressure is getting too high. It isn't going to explode. You just need to turn the temperature of your stove down and let it come back down to 13 pounds. If you read some of the things, it says, oh, if you go beyond 1 pound either direction, then you have to start your timer all over again. Baloney. So I'm going to start my timer right now because it's up to 13 pounds. And we have 70 minutes. So let's just, here, I'll put that up there. If you can see, well, it says 69. So we're just going to watch this and try to get it around 13 pounds for the whole 70 minutes. And usually once you get it to settle down, it stays there and it's pretty easy to maintain. Okay, so we are done. I just turned the timer off and turned the stove off. You can see that it's still at 13 pounds. And now I'm going to let it sit here for, well, the night, because it's evening, and it'll be all the way down and all the pressure will come down by in the morning. If you're doing this in the daytime, it'll usually take a couple of hours for it to like come down, the pressure, so you can empty it out. And then I'll be back to show you what it looks like when we take the lid off.